Life is an intricate tapestry woven with threads of joy, sorrow, love, and pain. It is not uncommon to experience moments when someone hurts you, be it through their words, actions, or indifference. But what does God have to do with this? Does He intervene when we suffer? Does He punish those who hurt us? Today, let us explore how God deals with those who hurt us, not from a place of vengeance, but from a higher, profound understanding of the workings of the universe. First, we must acknowledge the nature of pain and hurt. It is inevitable in life. Pain is not a punishment, it is a universal experience. When someone hurts you, it is not a personal attack, but a reflection of their own struggles, fears, or limitations. The moment we take this personally, we get entangled in the drama of others. Instead of focusing on the act of hurt, it is important to step back and ask, what is the deeper lesson here? At the core of this understanding lies the principle of karma. Every action, whether conscious or unconscious, creates ripples in the universe. Those who hurt others will inevitably face the consequences of their actions. It may not happen immediately, and it may not happen in the way you expect, but it will come. God does not need your help in balancing the scales of the universe. Instead of seeking revenge or retribution, let life take its natural course. The wounds inflicted on you will not remain forever. Time will heal them, as will the workings of karma. Yet, how do we navigate through the pain? The key lies in detachment. You are not your emotions, and you are certainly not your pain. The hurt you experience is a fleeting moment, but your consciousness is vast and infinite. If you attach yourself to the pain or the person who inflicted it, you remain stuck in a cycle of suffering. Detachment does not mean indifference. It simply means that you remain centered within yourself, unaffected by external disturbances. In this space, you can witness the hurt without allowing it to consume you. Now, what about forgiveness? Forgiveness is one of the most powerful acts you can offer yourself. It is not a gift to the person who has hurt you, but to yourself. By holding on to resentment and anger, you allow those emotions to govern your life. But when you forgive, you release yourself from the chains of the past. In this release, you regain your freedom. God, in His infinite wisdom, does not wish to see you bound by bitterness. Pain and hurt are intrinsic aspects of the human experience. Whether it comes from betrayal, loss, rejection, or conflict, it is something that everyone will encounter at some point in their life. Understanding the nature of pain and hurt is essential because it helps us navigate life with greater awareness and resilience. Too often, we fall into the trap of viewing pain as something to be avoided at all costs. But in doing so, we miss an essential lesson about the role pain plays in our lives. First, it is important to understand that pain in all its forms is not something to be feared. We live in a world where everything is in constant flux. Birth, death, growth, decay, joy, and sorrow. Pain is a natural consequence of this dynamic existence. When we are hurt by someone, it may seem as though the world is collapsing in on us. But this reaction comes from our mind's inability to accept change. Pain often arises when we experience a disconnection between what we expect and what actually occurs. The more attached we are to specific outcomes, the greater the suffering we experience when those expectations are not met. When someone hurts us, it's easy to take it personally. We may think that the person intentionally set out to cause us harm, and we can feel victimized or betrayed. But the truth is, pain that comes from others often originates not from a place of malice, but from their own struggles, insecurities, or misunderstandings. People are not perfect. They act based on their own internal world, shaped by their fears, past experiences, and emotional wounds. The hurt they inflict on others is a reflection of their own unresolved pain. If we understand this, we can begin to see that their actions are not truly about us, but about them. This realization can soften the blow of hurt and bring clarity to our emotional responses. When we take something personally, we become entangled in a drama that may not even be ours to play a part in. Our minds create stories around the hurt, stories of betrayal, injustice, and abandonment, which only serve to keep us locked in the cycle of pain. But the reality is that this cycle of pain is a mental construct. The hurt you experience is a feeling, and feelings come and go. What remains constant is your awareness of them. Once you begin to realize that pain is transient and not a defining feature of who you are, it becomes easier to let it pass. At the core of our suffering is often a deep-seated attachment to how we think life should unfold. We hold on to expectations, often without realizing that these expectations are projections of our own desires and fears. We think that life owes us certain things: respect, love, fairness, and when these are denied or taken away, we feel devastated. But life in its entirety is a blend of both beauty and hardship. To deny the existence of pain is to deny a natural and vital part of this experience. Instead of fearing it, we can learn to embrace it, knowing that pain is often the catalyst for growth and transformation. When we accept that pain is an inherent part of life, we can approach it with a different mindset. Instead of focusing on the injustice or betrayal, we can start asking ourselves what we can learn from the experience. What is this pain teaching us? How can we use it as a stepping stone for our own personal growth? The real question is not why me, but what is this pain showing me about myself? This shift in perspective opens the door to healing. The moment we accept pain as part of the human journey, we no longer resist it. Karma, in its essence, is the law of cause and effect. It is one of the most profound and universally acknowledged principles that govern not only our actions but also our emotional and spiritual experiences. The idea of karma transcends cultures and religions, appearing in various forms across different philosophical and spiritual traditions. But at its core, karma suggests that every action, whether positive or negative, creates an imprint, rippling outward and eventually returning to the source in one form or another. Understanding this principle helps us navigate life with more clarity, empathy, and responsibility, as it brings awareness to the interconnectedness of all things. When we talk about karma, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeing it as a form of cosmic punishment or reward. People often think that karma is about getting what you deserve, but that's a simplistic view. Karma is not a system of reward and punishment meted out by some external force. Instead, it's an organic, natural law that mirrors the state of our actions and intentions. Every action, no matter how small, leaves an imprint. This imprint or energy follows us, influencing the course of our lives. These imprints can either be light or heavy, depending on the nature of the action itself. What we often fail to recognize is that karma doesn't always play out in the way we think it should. We might believe that someone who wrongs us will face immediate consequences, but karma doesn't operate on a sense of timing. The ripple effect of our actions can extend over a long period, influencing outcomes in unexpected ways. Just because someone may not experience the consequences of their actions right away doesn't mean karma is not at work. It could be that their journey will unfold differently and the consequences will come in a way we can't foresee. Similarly, when we act with kindness or generosity, we might not immediately see the results, but the good energy we put out into the world will in time find its way back to us. Karma is not just about external actions, but also about the state of our minds and emotions. Our thoughts, intentions, and inner attitudes create karma too. A thought rooted in anger or resentment sends out a subtle energy, just as a thought rooted in love and compassion does. Even if we do not act on our thoughts, the energy behind them shapes our lives. This is why cultivating awareness of our inner state is as important as the actions we take. When we are mindful of our intentions and seek to act with purity of heart, we create positive karma. On the other hand, harboring negative emotions such as envy or hatred creates a subtle energy that binds us to those feelings and perpetuates them in our lives. Karma also teaches us about the interconnectedness of all beings. Nothing exists in isolation. Every action we take, no matter how small, affects the web of life around us. In this sense, karma encourages us to take responsibility for the impact we have on others and the world at large. When we harm others, whether through words or actions, we disturb the balance of the detachment. It is often misunderstood as a form of indifference or emotional coldness. Many people think that detachment means not caring about anything or anyone, but this could not be further from the truth. True detachment is not about rejecting the world or the relationships in it. Rather, it is about finding freedom from the mental and emotional entanglements that cause unnecessary suffering. It is about learning to engage with life fully while maintaining an inner sense of peace and balance, irrespective of the external circumstances. At its core, detachment is about understanding that we are not our experiences or our emotions. We tend to identify ourselves with the events and situations that happen to us. When something good happens, we feel elated and validated, but when something negative occurs, we feel deflated or even devastated. This constant cycle of emotional highs and lows is a result of our attachment to outcomes and the belief that these external events define who we are. Detachment, however, allows us to separate our identity from the ever-changing fluctuations of life. We realize that we are the witness to our thoughts, emotions, and experiences, not the sum of them. One of the main reasons detachment is so powerful is that it frees us from the tyranny of expectations. Expectations are the root cause of much of our suffering. When we hold rigid ideas about how things should be or how others should behave, we set ourselves up for disappointment. If life doesn't match our expectations, we feel hurt, frustrated, or angry. Detachment invites us to let go of these rigid expectations and accept life as it is. It doesn't mean that we stop desiring or stop caring. It means that we no longer depend on external outcomes for our happiness or sense of fulfillment. Instead of focusing on controlling what is beyond our control, detachment allows us to remain focused on our responses, attitudes, and inner peace. Through detachment, we also learn to approach relationships with greater clarity and understanding. When we are attached to a person, we can become overly reliant on their actions and approval for our own emotional stability. This dependency can lead to unhealthy patterns of neediness, control, or even manipulation. We may find ourselves expecting others to fulfill emotional gaps or to behave in a way that satisfies our desires. Detachment helps us recognize that our happiness and emotional well-being must come from within, not from others. This doesn't mean we withdraw from relationships or stop caring about the people around us. Rather, it means we cultivate a sense of emotional independence. We engage in relationships not to fulfill a need or expectation, but from a place of love, mutual respect, and understanding. Detachment also brings an increased sense of peace, especially in the face of adversity. Life is full of challenges, and it's easy to become overwhelmed by the difficulties we face. However, when we are detached, we are able to observe situations objectively without becoming consumed by them. We understand that struggles, setbacks, and failures are temporary and part of the natural flow of life. By not clinging to negative emotions or outcomes, we are better able to move through challenges with grace and resilience. Detachment allows us to navigate the stormy seas of life with an unwavering inner calm, knowing that nothing, not even hardship, can truly disturb our peace. Another important aspect of detachment is its connection to the impermanence of all things. Nothing in life lasts forever, whether it's joy, sorrow, success, or failure. Everything is in a constant state of change. When we attach ourselves too strongly to any one thing, we set ourselves up for inevitable suffering when that thing changes or is taken away. Detachment helps us appreciate the fleeting nature of everything around us without becoming overly attached to any one experience. By embracing impermanence, we learn to savor the present moment without clinging to it. Detachment teaches us to enjoy life fully without the need to hold on to it or control it. In essence, detachment is a practice of mental and emotional freedom. It allows us to engage with the world without being bound by it. By recognizing that our inner peace does not depend on external conditions, we open ourselves up to a more fulfilling, balanced, and harmonious life. Detachment doesn't mean withdrawal, it means involvement without attachment. It's a way of living that empowers us to experience life more deeply and authentically while remaining anchored in our true nature.